Hey YouTube, right here. I want to go ahead and make a quick video because in responding to someone else on one of my other videos who actually brought up a fairly decent point, although I don't think that the point was really fully thought through as far as like what a government wants. A government wants a society that is manageable, not decimated. But that's neither here nor there. This thought actually occurred to me while I was writing the response, and it's kind of in conjunction with a video where I ended up asking if you guys wanted to hear me kind of use SJW logic against SJWs and feminists. Well, here we go. SJWs are saying that young children, and I'm talking about very young children, should be allowed to have a sex transition operation if they so choose. Well, by that logic, that means they are allowed to alter their body how they see fit. And so by that logic, now I'm not saying it's good logic, but like I said, I'm using their shit against them. By that logic, then young boys, teenagers, so on and so forth, should be able to go ahead and get snipped. They should be able to have a vasectomy before they have kids, before they're even of legal breeding age. They should be able to do that. Girls should be able to have a voluntary hysterectomy. Just saying. The thought occurred to me. I mean, they're sitting there and saying that, young boys should be able to have their dick and balls cut off and then inverted up into them to turn them into a girl and go on to hormone therapy and all that shit. And they're saying that girls should be able to go ahead and have all their shit, taken out and then turned inside out to make a fucking penis. So, just out of curiosity, would that mean that men have to, that young boys and girls should be able to have something as relatively simple as a hysterectomy or a vasectomy? If they decide, you know what, I never want to have kids, they know this straight out. Now, I'm expecting this to happen more with young boys. But the thing is you don't hear that mentioned, do you? Wonder why that is. Government's all okay with, transgender, because the thing is that's a major fucking surgery. There's a lot of risk involved with it, and there's really not any going back. I mean, there is, but good luck with it. But the thing is, with a vasectomy and all that, that's something that would affect a vast majority of the male population. And all of a sudden, they wouldn't be able to sit there and say, oh, well, you're responsible for this kid. Because the person can sit there and go, no, when I was in high school, I got snipped. So unless this kid is X years old, or unless you're saying that I'm guilty of statutory rape, at which point you have to prove it with DNA evidence, oh, it's a different person's DNA? Wasn't me. They don't want that, because that gives men the free reign. At that point, that gives them the stay out of jail free card. Not the get out of jail free card, the stay out of jail. The never go to jail. Well, at least never go to debtor's prison. Then the only last step is they just have to move somewhere where common law marriage isn't a thing. They're good. As long as they're not stupid enough to let a woman talk them into sitting there and putting on the shackle, well, they're good to go. They don't have anything to worry about other than STDs. Just a thought. What are your thoughts on this? What do you think? Now, I'm not saying do you agree with the transgender thing and all that, because some people will agree with it, some people won't. I'm one of those people, I disagree with it because I just think that they're way too young. You should have to be a legal adult before you can even start that fucking process. That is my fucking thing. I mean, hell, you have to be 21 years old, and I'm talking about here in the U.S., but you have to be 21 years old to be able to drink alcohol. Well, some people would argue, well, then that should mean it starts at 18. But, you know, the thing is at that point, you know, even as far as 18 goes, I mean, at that point, they're an adult. They can make their own decisions. At that point, they are held responsible for their own decisions. So, all right. However, when they're young, I think it should be considered child mutilation. The reason why is because these kids haven't been around long enough to really, truly figure out exactly what they fucking want. I actually need to go through and look up the statistics, because I know that a lot of people who actually transition still have a lot of fucking issues. And a lot of them still commit suicide. Not necessarily just from social issues, because even as it's become more societally accepted, those rates haven't really dropped. So obviously that is not the causing factor. But, I mean, I'm not saying that every last person that transitions ends up in that situation. But a lot of them suffer from depression. A lot of them commit suicide. A lot of them have a plethora of fucking issues that come along with it. The hormone therapy isn't a walk in the park. It isn't fun. And that is something that is fairly continuous. I don't think you ever get off that. So, then also you have the whole increased cancer rate. You know, I mean, there's a lot that's very unhealthy physically about it. I feel fairly safe in saying that it shortens your life. Like, a lot of people are all like, oh, well, we need to crack down on smoking. We need to do everything to make this illegal because it shortens people's lives. Crossing into some fucked up territory, aren't I? They're sitting there and saying that, you know, something that shortens your life should be illegal. Something that increases your chances of cancer and other diseases should be illegal. Something that negatively impacts your health should be illegal. Something that isn't natural to your body should be illegal. So, which one am I describing there? Am I describing smoking, or am I describing transitioning gender? Just saying. But if that's okay, then surely vasectomies are okay. Surely hysterectomies are okay. I mean, as long as they're voluntary, obviously. But if you're going to sit there and say that young kids can go ahead and completely change their plumbing, then how are you going to sit there and say it's not okay for them to slightly alter their plumbing? Just a thought. So go ahead. Let me know. What are your thoughts on it? Does that make any level of sense? Talk to y'all later.